be low enough to where he could be still auto-relegated, if I'm not mistaken. Which would be an insane turn of events. It may not be possible. I think it's like a less than, small percentage. This tiebreaker's decent right now. But there's a lot of matches still left to be played, and those outcomes are affect tiebreakers in a lot of different ways. But one thing's for certain is, Empanizado needs a win here, because it would be that guaranteed auto-relegation if he loses.
Yeah, there's not that many games left, but we still have a lot of games to play if you do make it to playoffs, and if you do end up making it to the relegation bracket. But this is Zalae's last series for the round robin stage. It's going to game number 1 here. Demon Hunter off to a quick start. Zalae with an immediate hero power and attack. As taking a look at how Empanizado his hand's looking. He finds a Pharaoh Cat, which is very nice. If he finds a 2-drop off of it, it'd be great. If not, Cult Neophyte works totally fine. And looks like Zalae getting a little bit of assistance for his turn 2.
Saying play the cat. Don't know if I necessarily agree with the cat to play the cat.
Yeah.
Chaos Strike's fine here. Get to deal with the Pharaoh Cat. Cycle through the deck. Got a couple good turns set up with Mana Feeder Pantheras. Ooh. Potential for a big Edwin Van Cleef coming up here pretty quick.
So many options.
Yeah, the Edwin Van Cleef would be pretty powerful, but still lacks a couple of conditions. One, he needs to kind of target the backstab Vendetta at his enemy minions. I don't think he wants to do it on his own. That would be quite sad. But Empanizado does have the ability to just kind of set things up anyways. Also could just play the Ancestral Guardian. That's a very powerful Reborn minion against the Demon Hunter in particular because it has a lifesteal. So that's something nice to keep in his back pocket for now. Dirty Tricks seem okay. Daggers also seems okay to me because it keeps the Dirty Tricks open in case you happen to draw Hanar. And you're investing into a dagger, which you're probably going to use anyways. Over the course of the game. The issue is that by not playing the tempo when your Demon Hunter is giving you the opportunity to, you tend to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's going to get Dirty Tricks activation regardless. What this does is, if Zalae plays a minion here, which, no, not fully likely to do, he could just equip a Marrow Slicer. He could go Dirty Tricks, Vendetta, coin Edwin Van Cleef, which is a very powerful play. If he doesn't play the a minion, then it means he gets to go coin plus Jandis Brav and still hold on to this Dirty Tricks Vendetta Edwin Van Cleef for potential follow-up once Zalae reacts to this. Ooh, Mizaki.
Nice. Mizaki tends to be pretty fun to play, although not entirely applicable for any cards really outside of the Backstab and Vendetta. Zalae finds
I grow impatient.
Shard Shatter Mystic could be played this turn. The Wand Maker could come down afterwards. I mean, I'm pretty sure Zalae knows what minion 10 times out of 10 Empanizado chose, and I'm pretty sure Empanizado would, no circumstance ever, would want to pick up this, pick the Desert Obelisk to survive over Mizaki.
Mind games, Dan.
Mind games. That's right. Imagine him tack the Desert Obelisk and be so surprised right here.
Time grows short.
Funny enough, Zalae doesn't look like he wants to even attack a minion. It looks like he wants to go face. It's like the cat's like, see, I told you, the Panthera was good. Zalae's like,
I grow impatient.
That's when the wand thieves start coming out. Wand thief, shadow step, wand thief, shadow step, arcane missiles, backstep, vendetta, arcane missiles.
Yeah. I mean, Van Cleave comes out here, and Zalae has to be able to answer. This is a lot of tempo. Going the other way.
Ooh! Ah, but he can't quite reach him if he wants to play Shardshatter Mystic and Ace Hunter.
Right.
It doesn't work out because Ace Hunter plus Chaos Strike hero power is also only 7.
Demons.
He could...
Attack Bladebound. Take 8.
Yeah. Oh, that doesn't feel good. Can we, like, Chaos Strike and just draw Blade Dance? That sounds much better.
Demons.
Yeah, sure.
Demons.
Shardshatter Mystic here probably still wants to be the play because you do shut down a little bit of your opponent's board. And I think if you play like Spirit Jailer and Wand Maker and that kind of stuff, you still end up having some plays available. You might even pick up Silence. Okay. Oof. Not pretty.
Nope. Blade Rise gives all this right back. Not that much, just one Maker, Shardshatter Mystic, but yeah. All right.
Yeah, this is definitely still a dicey situation here because if Empanizado is not able to continue to his tempo line, he might actually start to get pressured the other way. Like Demon Hunter's already weathered the early game storm from the Rogue, and now if the roles reverse a little bit, Empanizado is going to be able to, or rather won't be able to finish out this game because Rogue lacks a lot of direct damage these days, which is kind of unusual, but is very much part of the class identity at this point. They regenerate value. They have a lot of cool tricks. They can even go for tempo swings, but they don't really kill from the hand nearly as much unless they're playing a straight-up aggro deck.
Yeah. Sometimes they can find, the one-off damage from hand with Wand Thief, or actually plagiarize, get them something, but definitely not a primary win condition of the deck. And Empanizado, seeing how much Zalae's been struggling just to deal with minions, just says, all right, I'm just going to develop a couple more minions. And hold on to the value from his hand because he realizes how much value is just inherently in an aggressive push.
I like it. And so with this, Zalae finds the Blade Dance, can take out the lifesteal effect pretty easily, and should be in the driver's seat despite being at 12 life. It's all about how he wants to go about it, if he can be a little bit more efficient. The immunity on Hunter Ace also is really nice because it stops the healing, because lifesteal only works based off the damage that's been dealt.
Time grows short.
Okay, finds another slice, and now Hunter Ace can come out. Very nice, very clean. Yep. The card seems really good in this deck, and maybe start to make me wonder if I should be putting it into my decks.
Well, it's good against more like tempo-based or against aggressive decks, but it's just a 3-mana 2/4 in like against like Priest,
Right.
even against like Tempo Mage, right, where you're not necessarily worried about taking too much damage. You're just worried about killing them. Any slower like value-oriented matchups, it's just a 3-mana 2/4. It's got its place, though. Obviously, you can see here, Rogue has an aggressive start. Let Zalae stabilize a little bit and stick a little bit more of a board. Colossus of the Moon.
All right.
Choose soon.
Yeah, we really have to stabilize here. This is looking very shaky. I think the Plague of Madness.
Don't let the door hit you.
Is... Well, I guess you don't really have to worry too much about trades on the board because you have some weak minions. But it does feel kind of sad that Plague of Madness just chills here. Hmm.
Yeah.
Alright, well, no biggie. Going into this turn, number 8 here from Zalae. How can he find a best way to play around all of these cards? You can first test for a spell, but the spell that he wants to test is not exactly the one that he feels comfortable with, which is a Skull of Gul'dan. Spirit Jailer, Gladebound Adept.
Yep.
And then go base, pressure.
Does set up a 2-turn
And-
lethal.
Yeah, and Empanizado did not have Plagiarize up, so... And even if he did, I think Zalae felt confident that he would be alive, so Empanizado finds Vendetta. Vendetta's a nice pickup here, and the Dragon Bane can come out.
So many options.
Alright, this is doable. Where's this 5 gonna go? Goes on a little 2-2. 2, 4, 5. Plus 8 is 13. Zalae also can just rip the Skull of Gul'dan. I'm pretty sure he's dialed in on dirty tricks right now.
Yep.
Alas, poor war.
I was looking at the decks. There's not an ambush. It's double dirty tricks, double plagiarize. He saw no plagiarize, so he's 100% certain that this is the dirty tricks. Aldraki Warblades, unfortunately, because of Soul Fragment, not discounted. But once again, because of the Ace Hunter, can go for some value trades here, keep his minions alive, and trade off some of this with Aldraki Warblades going for a little bit of healing. But like you said, not worried about damage from hand, so it's not crucial. Yeah, it said he could go for a Soul Shear because this sets up for a better Sociologist Militia going into the next turn. We take a look, see real quick. 8 Soul Fragments in the deck. Woo. That is a fully
lot.
juiced
Yes.
Soul Theologist.
Pump to the max. The way Zalae would approve.
And how much damage from hand?
I never lie, but I never tell the truth.
Noble Sacrifice probably is end up being the best card pick here, since it does seem like he needs to avoid taking damage at all costs.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it
his
gives
opponent's
him-
already presented a really aggressive board.
Looking for like an Ice Barrier in this instance.
Yep. Ice Barrier, Misdirection, something.
Plagiarize is interesting. Zalae tries to go for Aldraki Warblades. Ah, he could just go for Sociologist, huh?
Choose soon.
Because there's just no way for Empanizado to make use of that card. But that is a randomly generated Rogue Secret, so you can't pin it on anything.
Right.
Get down!
So Noble Sacrifice gets revealed, and he ends up going for this Ends up picking up Consume Magic. I'm thinking about an opportunity to drop the Sociologist here. But it seems like Zalae is more interested in
Wait, it's lethal.
just getting the
It's not.
damage through. I thought it was 1 damage off. 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh, hero power.
Wait. 2, 4, 5 plus 8. Yeah. 13. But it was
Forgot the
pressure
fact
play,
that-
and he didn't attack first. Oh, that could have been bad.
Ah. Yeah.
But he did
yeah.
get there in the end, right? Exactly.
Woof.
11. There it is.
Yeah. All right, so game number 1 goes over to Zalae. I mean, little bit of a scary moment there where he could have even thrown away that game if the pressure play ended up hitting Hunter Ace. Possibility, unlikely, but
Because then he
nice
gives
catch there.
Eldraki Warblades over to Empanizado
Right.
because the play drives was up, and then he just goes and swings back and heals up the damage. So,
yes.
a little bit close there, but Zalae gets the job done. 1 win in the books.
1 win in the Bucks, and again, Empanizado only 2 lives left in order to get this over the hump. His career as a Grandmaster is in jeopardy and would be very sad, right? Just because we know what Empanizado kind of represents, which is the player that he really put a lot of time and effort into qualifying. He crowdfunded his own way to a Masters Tour, under the faith that he would be able to qualify, and his community rallied behind him and supported him. And then it'd be really sad to see him just not qualify for the next season of Grandmasters, even if that was ended up being the case. So we'll see if that ends up being, if that's his fate. In the end, it's really up to him. He needs to be able to get the win, and the community can get behind him all he wants. But if he's losing here, we will auto relegate him.
Yep.
Let's go into it. Game number 2. Mage versus the Druid. Druid
I'm
definitely
gonna be
gotten
honest with
a
you.
little bit of a step down. We didn't really cover it since we didn't have our usual pre-show, but the cards have been changed this week, and Guardian Animals does cost 8. Is Zalae looking for that early ramp?
I'll be honest with you, Dan.
What's up?
In practice, I've put in so much testing on this deck because I felt like I had to be misunderstanding it. I cannot win with this Druid deck from Zalae. I have not won
Okay.
a single game with it.
Player
Out of
diff?
like 10 to 15. It could be player diff. It could be. It could be pilot error. I don't know. But the Guardian Animals nerf on top of Zalae not playing animated broomsticks, it feels like either you draw the nuts or you gas out and die.
Been there.
And sometimes
Time waits for no
and sometimes
Okay.
you draw the nuts and you still gas out and die. Also
It
been
does
there.
feel like there's a lack of comeback mechanisms, particularly because of the fact that your opponent, they get a lot more time than usual to be able to set everything up. And then to make matters worse, they also struggle to be able to come back onto the board because there's no broomsticks or there's nothing like that to really get things going. So I feel you, TJ. I strongly feel like this Druid deck does tend to struggle a little bit more than we're used to seeing.
This hand is one that can do it, though. Because he can get out the Guardian Animals so quickly.
Yeah, that's fair.
He can, like, Bog Beam down this Astromancer Solarian and then go for our Guardian Animals next turn. That's how early.
Right.
And oftentimes it feels like that's what it takes.
Time waits for no one.
You can also use like Speaker Gidra to clear this off, but I feel like the upside of Speaker Gidra is much more, or just hero power. Alright, this makes
He
sense.
wants to have minions on the board for the guardian animal.
Yes. Wants to have something to trade in with if Twilight Runner comes out. Willing to take the 3 damage in order to do so. But this also does allow Empanizado to capitalize off of Cram Session, which he just picked up. He can also get a card out from the Wand Thief.
Cram into the Wand Thief. Into a Fireball potential here, or an Arcane Breath. He doesn't have the Dragon, but ends up going with the line that you were talking about, TJ. And I kind of think there is value to Frost Nova in a matchup against Druid, since they do tend to be a lot more board aggro, but I do like the flexibility of an Arcane Breath.
Alright. Teacher's Pet picked up. Guardian Animal's coming out this turn. Empanizado is actually quite prepared, well, not prepared to deal with it in full, but prepared to deal with it in some form with Sorcerer Apprentice Mana Cycle. In fact, there's a small chance that Empanizado actually can get out a... Surprised he didn't draw cards. Empanizado
Well, maybe
does
he
play
feels
Devolving
comfortable enough right now that he doesn't need the ability to draw cards, because he knows his opponent wants to respond. Empanizado does play a Devolving Missiles, though. That does make me a little bit scared.
Ashermancer Solarian, Rare Frost, Arcane Breath to take out the leg pressure, then Mana Cycle. And you're ripping a Devolving Missiles every time.
Right. Absolutely.
Nope. Alright. Well, that's
So-
not particularly good.
Right, and that gives Zalae the opportunity to respond to this board now. Attack with Twilight Runner first, I guess, and see what you draw.
Yeah.
So I guess Bog Beam here makes the most sense, since you just want to get rid of some targets. And if you do end up playing something like Overgrowth anyways, you just rather have killed off that damage beforehand instead of waiting so long for it. So this makes sense to me.
Yeah, so I really want an 8-8 this turn. It's the best way to...
Down for the 8/8.
You can go Encounter's Flow, Wand Thief, Mana Giant. You can go Arcane Explosion, Wand Thief, Mana Giant. Or Arcane Explosion, Encanter's Flow, Mana Giant. That's the best. It keeps 2/2 on board as well. Most power possible. Optimizing the play. Now Zalae's on 6 mana. And he can't kill the Mana Giant.
That's pretty unfortunate here.
Speaker Gidra Bog Beam is not quite enough. Speaker Gidra would have 4 attack. And not enough health to withstand 2 hits from the Mana Giant.
Yeah, and this is the power of that Mana Giant, right? To be able to get them into positions like this that force Druid into a tough spot. So Empanizado doing a great job trying to pick the pain points for his opponent's deck.
Time waits for no one.
Gotta choose something though. You can't just sit here. Teacher's Pet instead of the ramp. Oh, jeez. Jewish struggles are really starting to show here.
Yeah. Kind of wanted to Overgrowth there just so I have mana, but I guess putting defense in the way. Next turn he'd go Speaker Gidra Overgrowth. Fog Beam, which allows him to kill a minion plus the. Oh, what? Yeah.
So Astromancer Solarian, Pyroblast,
What?
start things
In what
off.
face?
11
Combustion.
damage.
One more spell to the face. That's just lethal.
That's lethal.
That's lethal. What?
He's
He just
dead.
killed him.
What? He's already
That's
dead.
just overkill. He just drew it on 7 and killed him.
See, as much as it's fun to go to the winner cam there, I want a loser cam when that happens.
That is.
Because I'm pretty sure
ridiculous.
Zalae was staring down the camera like, what? What just happened? All right, I'm ready to play. I shuffled my deck.
It is so likely Zalae loses from that spot just because, again, you lose the board. Your comeback mechanic is. It's nothing. Yeah, that's right. You have nothing in your deck outside of nailing a bunch of diving griffins from Exotic Mount Seller that lets you come back in a game. And Speaker Kidra, but it wasn't juiced. He was only going into 7 mana crystals. Almost certainly he loses that game there. But what a way to do it in style. Just killing him on 7 with the Slayer Prime that just gets slammed off the top. Sometimes, Dan. Sometimes.
Yeah, totally. And you see that overall, like in a position like this, it's really, really hard for sometimes the Druid to get started, and the Mage really made them suffer. So, job well done to Empanizado, and also a little bit unfortunate for Zalae's side as he just kind of got wrecked there. But alas, that does bring us to game number 3, and Empanizado desperately needed that victory in order to have a chance of being able to survive and call himself a Grandmaster next season.
It's a big one. Now, the Rogue again. Druid just takes so long. The ability to deal with early Edwins and early questings is incredibly limited. Guardian Animals coming out a turn slower just makes this matchup so much better for the Rogue. Because a lot of times, Rogue especially does hinge on that one turn, right? The difference between being able to kill a questing adventurer the turn it's played and not being able to kill a questing adventurer the turn it's played is game losing.
Right.
And, I feel like this matchup in the past was close because of that interaction. Like, by the time the questing or the Edwin got online, the Druid was usually at that 7 mana crystals or, 5 with a Lightning Bloom, and they could manage it. But now, it's just one turn later, so it's a little bit harder. And, that can cause a snowball effect. So, doesn't feel great.
Yes, it's very much so, and that snowball
Holy
effect
moly.
might be felt in full force
Jeez.
going into
my
this
gosh.
game. I mean, this is looking like a big
Dirty
Edwin
tricks.
coming
He goes
out here,
Edwin
TJ.
this turn. Next turn he can go Colt Neophyte, Shadow Step Colt Neophyte.
Yeah. That's the stuff.
I mean, not like Zalae had any spells to play anyway.
Yeah, it's true. But, I mean, he's staring at an early Edwin Van Cleef, and now that
Colt
Edwin's
Neophyte,
going
Blackjack
to
Center, the
real
Colt
hurt.
Neophyte.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Colt Neophyte?
Blackjack Center, the Colt Neophyte. Then next turn, Colt Neophyte, Shadow Step Colt Neophyte.
I mean, you could do that next turn as well and push more damage this way.
I guess, but
It's less swag, though. That's definitely for sure.
yeah. Sure. 4 mana, deal 3, let me draw 2. Questing!
Questing Adventurer. Oh my goodness.
I'm just going in.
There are really big pickups here for Empanizado.
So many options.
Can we press in
Get
here
me
and
out
find
of
a
this
way to
game
win?
if I'm Zalae. Oh my gosh.
I mean, this just looks really solid to just play the questing adventure. I think Empanizado knows how far ahead he is. He's just really trying to make sure he's not throwing the game by ignoring certain things.
Give me a quest.
Understandable, to be honest.
Choose soon.
The only thing in the deck that kills this is
Don't
Innervate
worry.
Lightning Bloom Guardian Animals. Second Bog Beam or Speaker Gidra. That is it.
Don't let the
Or
game hit you.
Lightning Bloom Exotic Mount Seller. Innervate
Wow.
1 mana spell into a Rusher. But
Yes.
Empanizado is just setting up for a 2-turn here. Like, Zalae has to pay 5 for an Anubisat Defender.
Job's done.
It just doesn't look very promising right now, based off how
Secret
everything
off the
is.
top. Wow, what a stomp!
Yeah,
What
this has
a
been
stomp.
so one-sided. Game is over. Turn 5 kill. Early Edwin into questing adventure. Rogue gets the job done. And Empanizado, with quick back-to-back victories, able to put himself at the doorstep to stay alive. We're kind of talking about just a couple games ago, 10 minutes ago, TJ. We were talking about how Empanizado might begin the road to relegation. And now he might be alive, TJ. Might.
I mean,
Nothing's
that game
guaranteed,
is
of course.
That game is a stomp, even if Guardian Animals is 6 mana. Like, he killed it
How
before
many cards can
anything was
defend you from
even
that
relevant.
kind of aggro?
Yeah, like that was just insane. Wow. All right. Well, get that one out of my brain. And Empanizado Soul Demon Hunter, the final deck remaining. And once again, I worry for the Druid deck here from Zalae. Soul Demon Hunter is one of the ones where sometimes you can get like out of range of those big blade dances later on in the game. But it's tough. It's tough. You have to apply a lot of pressure in order to make that happen. The thing is that Demon Hunter usually has a relatively slow start. You have time to find the ramp.
You have much to answer
And
for.
ramp he shall. 2 pair.
Nice. 2 over. I mean, this actually looks like a real hand. You could do it on turn 1 and turn 2, but then you'd be stuck with no cards in hand. Maybe throw away 1 Innervate past turn 1 and then do Innervate Coin Overgrowth into Overgrowth. That way you get another card that you might be able to actually play. That feels a little bit more reasonable to me.
I do like playable cards. Really curious what Zalae does because he's given this all of the thought.
Right.
All right. 1 Innervate down. Finds you Sarah Unleashed. That's the playable card we're looking for.
Sure.
All right, let's plan this out. So, I want to... if you play... So if you Innervate Coin Overgrowth this turn, you play Overgrowth next turn, but then you're curving into 7?
Yes.
Which there is no 7 currently, but you're getting the mana crystals out of the way.
No, you're curving into 8. You're curving into 8. Could you gain a mana crystal naturally?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're curving into 8. Still no play for 8, but getting the Overgrowth out of the way now means you have extra mana in future turns to deal with the board. So getting the mana crystals out when you know the Demon Hunter's going to have a deadish turn means they have more time to react later.
Right.
Ooh, so priming right away. Not ideal.
I mean, Zalae has the hand that can crush most kind of decks here in Hearthstone. It's one of the most unstoppable hands out there. With how much pressure can start going the other direction. So, I mean, I'm expecting great things from this Druid deck. High expectations.
Empanizado has been very conservative with his weapon attacks every time we've watched him play Soul TH. This is the real test. He's got all 6, or not all 6, but 6 weapon swings in his hand right now. And he still holds the attack.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's got like all of the reasons to start attacking because he knows his opponent's going to start playing stuff, and he's going to be pretty conservative because he has that Blade Dance. Messenger Raven comes out, not really a high impact minion, but it doesn't really matter. Zalae is just trying to get stuff on the board, then play Survival of the Fittest, then hope that he draws card draw here.
I grow impatient.
All right. So, a couple ways to go about this. Empanizado can just part ways with the Consume Magic and start pushing some base damage, or he can double trade Hero Power and Shard Shatter Mystic to take off both these minions below for 3-2. With how much Zalae is ramped, I'm kind of scared of what's to come. Which means I want to go really fast. And trading and then Shard Shatter Mystic is not really fast.
Yeah, it's not really fast at all.
My dream is your nightmare.
I think that's the big problem here. Like, ultimately, Empanizado, like, what he wants to do makes sense, but is Zalae going to give him the time to feel like he can do that?
Yeah, that's the concern, right? Like, your opponent's going into 9 mana, you have a 3-2 on board. I guess there was not really any way for him to set up like lethal over a few turns. Like, let's say he Consume Magics there, and then hits with his Marrow Slicer and pushes as much damage as he can. He's still only on 6 mana going into his following turn. Doesn't feel like he has enough damage to set up, but I guess that's, you know, the power of this type of Druid hand where you have double ramp with follow-up. Not out of it yet, though. But it's auto Consume Magic for a taunt. It's got Blade Dance for a couple big minions.
I mean, this overflow is devastating, though. Oh,
Dream portals.
jeez.
Looking for Dream Portals.
Oh, it's the Nubisat Defender immediately. I guess you could still hold on to it. Oh, gosh. And a Bog Beam. He could totally choose to hold on to a lot of this stuff, too, if he wants his exotic Mount Seller. But right now, I'm thinking about ways that I can kill him next turn. So I would probably favor the Bog Beam over the Iron Bark in this spot to make the Blade Dance as weak as possible. But I mean, Zalae probably feels like if his opponent spends his entire turn Blade Dance, he's still in a really good spot. Oh man.
4 Soul Fragments. Not enough. Well, technically enough. You could go
survive.
Sociologist Militia, attack the Adubasoth, trade 1 there, and 3 into the Speaker Gidra. What else can he do? Chaos Strike, try and Consume Magic, and then Blade Dance and hope you can push. Second Blade Dance.
I mean, it's just not. It's not really what you want here. You already had a Blade Dance. You don't need a second one.
Time grows short.
I think Empanizado's out of options here. He has to double Blade Dance and hope that he hits the right targets. Oh, and he missed on the Speaker Gidra, so he has to go for the Consume Magic. Alright. I was kind of thinking he would double Blade Dance, but he's really trying to save that in case he needs it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Zalae can go for the Mount Seller now. He saw one Blade Dance. He feels really comfortable with it.
I honestly like the double Blade Dance there. You have to be quite hopeful to win this game, and I think your hope is no card draw and no minions, or not very impactful minions, right?
Right. Yeah, I could totally see that.
Because at least with double Blade Dance, you actually hold on to Consume Magic, which means like you can push through the second Iron Bark that would come out. Sociologist Militia with 4 Soul Fragments in the deck and a clear board. If Zalae just reloads with 1 minion and doesn't draw a portal, you take control of the board and you keep pushing damage. I honestly think that double Blade Dance had a lot more merit there. You kind of just mentioned it in passing, but I ran with it.
As I hope you would, TJ. But it does bring up some questions, right? Which is certainly worth mulling over. Is it better to actually be pursuing things like the board clear, or in a situation where you can get like the optimal clear, or should you be trying to survive and be more immediate with how you're playing your cards? It's definitely something to think about for sure.
Well, I mean, there's still a... If Empanizado Social Lapidary Hero Powers here, Blade Dance and hits Ysera, the Exotic Mount Seller, and... Yeah, just those two. Like, if he hits those two and pushes 10...
Time grows short.
I mean, now he has to make a tough decision again if he wants to push the damage versus not.
There's absolutely nothing tough about this. This is the easiest play I've ever seen in my life. If that 10 damage went into Exotic Mount Seller, I would leave.
Leave Grandmasters. You would be relegated.
I would just leave. I would leave it all. I would leave the cast. I would leave Grandmasters. I would leave my house.
You gonna leave your children? TJ.
I would come back to them, but I would not come back to
so
this
you would
cast.
leave and then come back.
Yeah, I wouldn't come back to the cast. That's
Got
for
it.
sure.
Right. We've established that much.
What to do?
Crystal Power comes down. Zalae probably thinking about if you can justify playing Survival of the Fittest here, but I think you just go for the Teacher's Pet in the clear.
I don't
And
know.
maybe the Thresher. You want to go for Survival
Get another
here?
minion for Survival of the Fittest.
Whoa.
You get 2 more minions for Survival of the Fittest.
Oh, he gets a
Sets
taunt!
up- All
That's
right,
so
now
big.
game.
Yeah. Wow,
Wait a second.
just
Wait
like
a second.
that.
Soulseer for Sociologist Militia is 5. Soulseer's the 7-1, and then has 5. Nope, not enough. It's close. Real close.
Very close, but not enough. And we're going once more, TJ, to a game 5. As Zalae has tied it up and is now trying to fight for another shot. In these games, they just keep getting real close, TJ. Every single one of them, and I feel like we are so close to seeing like some of these series end, and then all of a sudden they just start to slowly come back. And as much as we feel like it might be one side, all of a sudden the player just makes this pretty dramatic comeback out of nowhere. Those are some very fast games we just saw. And Zalae just ran over Empanizado. But Empanizado also did the fair share of damage to Zalae earlier on. Now I'm not really sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, Mage versus Demon Hunter, a favorable matchup for Empanizado, but you know we've seen this match go both ways. It's just this is one of the worst matchups for the Temple Mage.
You asked for it.
They just don't have ways to defend themselves. They take a lot of time to set up. There's some very specific randomly generated cards that can help them out. Most of the time, by the time they can get a mana draw Magi and get it down, the Demon Hunter has enough cards and mana to be able to blade dance it away pretty easily. So it just feels like Demon Hunter just matches up quite nicely against these small spell, these Temple Mage decks. We shall see.
Certainly does feel that way.
Empanizado's Grandmaster's life is on the line here. He loses this last game, this game 5 here against Zalae. He is relegated. There's no way that because Firebat and Agidon, who are the other players at 2 wins, play against each other in our very next match, there can only be one other player that can be down at 2 wins with him, which means he's in that bottom 2 spot guaranteed, and he is relegated.
Yep, precisely. And so here we go, game number 5. For the chance to stay in Grandmasters, can Empanizado do it? You mentioned that this matchup does feel pretty good for Demon Hunters, as they do excel at taking out some of these wide but annoying boards from the Mage. Everything looks pretty good to start things off here. Empanizado controlling the amount of power on the board using that Soul Shear. Zalae doesn't have any minions, but he's got ways to make them. Okay, Blood Mage Thanos makes sense here.
I was curious about this. You play Blood Mage Thanos and then Primordial Studies. It discounts your next spell damage. If you play it the other way around, you might be able to tempo out an even better spell damage minion. Which in this case would have only allowed him to play a 3 mana spell damage minion, which would have just been Dalaran Mage, which is not really super impactful.
Right.
This case, I'm not sure. My partner's the cheapest. Mana Reservoir is the most durable. I think it's between those two. I think you could throw Dalaran Mage out of that conversation because Lab Partner is just 1 health difference, does pretty much everything better.
You don't pick the ones.
I like the Lab Partner. I think it's totally fine. Here, I do think looks like Zalae getting some moral support here in game number 5. Oh, are you playing your highest stakes match yet this season? Oh, are you using this monitor right here and not paying attention to me? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you need to see your screen as you play in the highest form of competition for your craft? Some of the thoughts that's probably going on through that feline's head.
I'll never understand cat.
What don't you understand?
Everything.
I guess you don't like that you can't read them, huh?
I just don't like them.
Oh, TJ. I was really hoping you wouldn't say that.
I like simplicity.
I know. You say sit and the pet sips.
Yep, exactly.
Not sit, and then the pet stares at you as it knocks over your cup of water slowly while making eye contact. Empanizado finds second Skull of Gul'dan, outcast position, not enough mana right now, and needs to find a way to use these cards to either ignore the board or acknowledge. And both don't feel very good. I think the Mana-Feed Panthera makes the most sense in this position because it does give him opportunities to potentially find better plays, and then he can save his coin for Skolical Down the following turn. You could also just set up Marrow Slicer and not attack, which would be a very
loves not attacking.
loves a very
it.
Empanizado move, right?
Yeah. He's just like, War 2 weapon. Let me preserve this as long as I can.
I mean, don't we all want to do
No.
that?
He attacked! I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen Empanizado whip a weapon and attack the same
up,
turn
dude.
when playing Demon Hunter.
You're so silly. Mana Cyclone at the end of this. Pushing out that damage. Right now, things are looking pretty good for Zalae. Very smooth sailing. Not a lot going on for Empanizado here. He has the ability to go for the coin Skull Gul'dan. Hope that he doesn't pick up any soul fragments. Needs to find Shard Shatter Mystic. Would be sick. Oh my gosh, not a good start at all.
Warlock.
Alright, those are good.
Those are good. Still not swinging. An opportunity here for Zalae to build up his board even further with the Chenvala. But how much does he want to extend onto the board? When your opponent plays Skull Gul'dan, you are a little bit afraid of what your opponent could do.
Yeah, Font of Power. That'll allow him to only have to freeze one of his minions. Ooh.
Caligos?
I don't think... I don't know if you can bank on the game going that long. But it is like, you know, the biggest possible swing. Because you could get like 8 freeze and be able to play it the same turn. And that could lock out the Demon Hunter from being able to do much of anything. Alright, a lot of mana worth of cards in the hand for Empanizado, but only 6 to spend. No AoE.
I grow impatient.
Yeah, that is truly unfortunate. No AoE. No ability to easily answer this.
Yeah. Can go like Mana Feeder, Hero Power Mana Feeder Panthera. I like to start with that. Idea. More blades. Now we can still go Demon Companion and Gladebound. Or another Mana Feeder Panthera and then just kill off the Shenvala and re-equip the Marrow Slicer.
Sure.
I don't mind that either. You're leaving a lot of power on board, but you're drawing another card. You have Marrow Slicer equipped. You have attack plus double Gladebound the turn after.
Yeah, I like that. And I think that you have to start finding ways to answer because, like, the Mage is very much creeping onto the board. So I like it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like the position that Empanizado's in because he's not getting much closer to finding that AoE unless he draws it off the top. Things are starting to become a little bit too expensive.
I mean, I don't think anyone's happy to be in this spot, but I think, you know, you have to consider this because Zalae's just putting on the damage. Look at the tempo he's getting. Blade Dance comes to the hand. Big opportunity for Empanizado to swing the board.
He doesn't have the 6th attack to cleanly kill this Raz, though.
Gonna go digging with the Mana Theater Panthera first. Maybe he finds a Twin Slice off the top. Okay, Soul Fragment. Soul Fragments. Soul Fragments. Okay, maybe the Demon Companion.
Grows short.
Give him some Refa action.
Yeah. Or, yeah, it's gotta be Demon Companion. I really want this extra damage to go to face. I don't want to have to trade into the Raz. Nope. He gets Tech Love. I don't know.
More like a Keck W, am I right?
What is his name? Cleo?
I know it. I think it's like Kellio
Clico.
or something like. It's like
Clico.
some. Yeah, it's some anagram of Leok.
Well, yeah, I know that. Oh, really? I had no idea. I think it's just Leok, but with the O and the E switched. So it's Loke.
It's Kolek, TJ. I gave you enough chances. Maybe his real name's Kodak because he's always just holding the camera while everyone else gets to be center stage. Ray of Frost and Icicle drawing a card. Keep the train going. Finds lethal next turn. I mean, Empanizado finds Consume Magic. That's not good enough here.
He can kill this, but he's got to take 8.
The water say.
Okay, yeah, now he's got to take 8.
What could he have picked up that made him not have to take 8?
Oh wait, Blur costs 0. Never mind. It's a way to make your hero immune if you
Yeah.
if you do it, but for some reason I thought it costed 1, but that is not true. And now Empanizado is down to just 9
It's
hit
time!
points. It is time, TJ. Cram session to draw cards. Arcane missiles. Only one to face.
Fireball!
And the fireball!
Oh no!
And just like that, Solarian Prime strikes for lethal. Zalae wins 3-2, improves his record for a playoff positioning. And unfortunately for the other side, Empanizado has played his last game here in Division B for Grandmasters, as he is guaranteed to finish in that bottom 2, which puts him in the relegation zone as he finishes 2-5. And it's never fun to talk about how some people lose their opportunity to be a Grandmaster. For some, it's career ending. But